Back on track. The football team was hurting for a victory, and Middle Tennessee ended up being just what the doctor ordered.
On the road again, 6 in a row. Why not one more? The Lady Spikers can't stop, and they won't stop, as they just keep on winning.
I'm Skylar Hardman here in Logan, getting ready for the battle of the old wagon wheel. It's the Aggies going up against the Cougars, and we'll have information on Jamal Williams. Will he be ready to tear up these Aggies tonight? It's time for the Tube.
I'm excited for the game tonight in Logan. I'm excited to hear from Skylar. I hope we can win, and it was awesome to see us win last week. Were you there at the game?
I was at the game, the Middle Tennessee game. It was cold, but I'm sure Skylar is just miserable up in Logan right now.
Yeah, it's probably freezing. It was decent weather last week, though, and if we go back and we look at the final score, you'd likely think that BYU had an impressive showing against the Blue Raiders, but it was actually kind of ugly. J.D. Falslev with the fumble on the punt return right here. He'd get this one back, but the Cougs coughed up 6 other turnovers. They fumbled in the blue zone several times, but there were some positives too. The Cougar backfield showed depth, with freshman Algie Brown recording 68 yards on 11 carries. Michael Lisa bullied his way through the line for 2 of BYU's 4 touchdowns. But the longest score of the night came on special teams. J.D. Falslev dropping 3 punts in the game, but redemption is sweet. He runs pretty much the length of the field. Kyle Van Noy here with the impressive assist, and JD waltzes into the end zone to solidify the win for the Cougs. So here's a shocker. Taysom had an amazing run game. He had 165 of the team's 309 total rushing yards. For those of you like me who are math impaired, that's more than half. Yeah. 50 of those coming on this run right here. He could go all the way, and he does. His signature backpedaling into the end zone for 6. Typical. The real story was Hill's passing game. It was impressive, and it was a really nice change of pace. The man Kyle Van Noy calls Tater slung the rock for 74% completion, something Falslev says was a long time coming.
First and foremost, we got to protect so he can throw, and then we got to catch the stinking football. That's what it comes down to. It's not a confidence issue.
And now that that's all behind us, the Cougars are heading north now to Logan to take on in-state rival Utah State tonight. BYU has won 22 of the last 24 against USU, but the last time these teams faced off in Logan, the Aggies came out on top. And that's where CougTube reporter Skylar Hardman joins Mary and me. Skylar, it looks cold up there.
Thanks, guys. It's pretty chilly and overcast here in Logan right now, but we expect those clouds to clear out before game time. Last year, the Cougars beat the Utah State Aggies 6-3, but they're going to need to score more than 6 tonight if they hope to overcome Chucky Keaton and the Aggies.
It's been a disappointing year so far for both the Aggies and the Cougars, and tonight's game is one that can salvage at least some of the season for either team. The Cougars come in as one of the top rushing teams in the country, led by dynamic sophomore quarterback Taysom Hill. On the season, Hill has more rushing yards and yards per carry than any other quarterback in the country. His passing game has been shaky at times, but he showed promise last week, going 14 of 977 yards against Middle Tennessee State. Leading Utah State, junior Chucky Keaton is second in passing touchdowns on the season and has already totaled almost 1,400 yards thus far. Last week, Keaton threw for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns against San Jose State, but this game will likely be a battle of the defenses. Both teams are allowing right around 17 points per game, and neither has given up more than 21 points so far. Look for Utah State to load the box with 7 or even 8 defenders, while BYU tries to rattle Keaton early and often. It will be a dogfight here in Logan.
The rain has picked up a little bit, so we broke out the umbrellas. Now we're talking about Jamal Williams being on the field. That will be a huge asset for the Cougars, as he has passed off all his concussion protocol. But also suffering from a concussion lately is Adam Hine, the fellow running back and kick returner. The Cougars will be without him because he didn't pass all of the physicals that he needed to. The trainers at BYU are very careful about this sort of thing and tell us exactly what concussion protocol is.
It's a hard test. I mean, if you or I were to take the test, it'd tax us. And so if somebody is concussed, it really taxes them.
The protocol includes a series of mental and physical tests that student athletes have to pass before they can play after being concussed. They range from simple math to reaction times. This allows trainers to track eye movement speed, which has been strongly linked to neurological function. Sometimes concussions are obvious, like this season when Jamal Williams and Adam Heenan were both temporarily unconscious in a silent LaBelle Edwards Stadium.
Concussions can be dangerous for the athlete.
Adding to the danger is the unknown.
If somebody sprains an ankle and swells up or gets a bruise and, discolors their skin, it's easy for me to see that. I can't really see a concussion.
Each team in the NCAA has a plan ensuring players don't return to action prematurely. Even if an athlete is fully recovered from a concussion, there's always a chance that another one is just around the corner. Wide receiver Ross Appa recovered from a concussion early in his college career, but the memory of it affects the way he plays.
You hesitate sometimes to go in and make contact, and it's difficult.
Some of BYU's greats had concussions follow them their whole career. Heenan and Williams hope that's not the case for them.
Taysom Hill will, of course, be excited to have Jamal Williams beside him in the backfield. That gives the Cougars pretty much all 11 starters. They're looking to be powerful tonight in Utah State. I'm joined now by Kyle Ireland, a CougTube reporter, who's talking about how powerful the 12th player is for this Utah State team, that student section.
I looked on Facebook. They call themselves loud, crazy, and even belligerent.
Belligerent, that's quite the word for an Aggie.
Yeah, well, apparently they have a library on campus, and it has a dictionary in it. They decided to look that word up. And regardless of big words, they'll be loud in the stadium tonight.
Across campuses, you see student sections generating an intense game day atmosphere. In Logan, the Herd student section is known for their rowdy basketball environment, and now they're bringing that over to football.
People are just insane here now. They do all their, thought up cheers really, really well. They do the Scotsman, it's called. This is the song at first. They do the I Believe chant, which gets people riled up at the beginning, and then at the end they do the winning team, losing team chant. It's pretty crazy.
The Herd is like what the Cougars are trying to bring to Provo with the creation of The Rock, something that Coach Bronco Mendenhall says charges up the game day experience, giving the Cougars a home field advantage.
I also would like to express my thanks to, and our student section has changed our stadium. And so, man, how they welcome us here, and then, man, the support they gave us, they gave us a home field advantage, and so I thought that was awesome.
Oh, it's awesome. We get so much louder because we're all congregated together, and we have a blast. Everyone gets so much more into it because we're all together.
Tonight, you won't see The Rock in Romney Stadium. This house belongs to the Herd. Expect to hear loud and crazy Aggie students all herded together, cheering on their team.
Thanks, Skylar and Kyle. Fun fact for you, the Herd, instead of spelling it with an E, they spell it with a U for Utah State. So if you see that on TV tonight, it's not a typo.
And I've never actually been to Utah State or Logan, but I've heard that their student section is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard from their players that their fans are pretty hostile. So hopefully that environment doesn't contribute to them winning.
Yeah, when CougTube returns. Travel tactics. The football team plays all over the country this year, but what does it take to get their equipment there? See what it takes to ship the team across the nation.
And rolling along, not waves, not tigers, not even lions and bears. Oh my, nothing can slow down the Lady Spikers on their current hot streak. Stay with us.
Whether the Cougars are playing at home or on the road, BYU fans love a good football game, but most don't know what goes on behind the scenes. CougTube reporter Alan Miller tells us what it takes for the team to travel.
The Cougars kicked off their season at Virginia and still have away games at Houston, Wisconsin, Notre Dame, and Nevada, and that means the team will spend a lot of time on the road. Good thing they've got the crew that keeps them going. When the Cougars leave town, there's another team getting things ready for game time. The BYU travel office schedules buses and planes, books hotel rooms, and even coordinates meals for players during the trip. They say feeding 3 busloads of football players can have its challenges.
One thing we stress with the hotel and the catering staff is always to have enough food.
Not only is the team covering a lot of ground this season, but so is their gear. Players loaded up yesterday for tonight's game, but the equipment was ready to go the day before.
And they'll pack their own personal gear, meaning their shoulder pads, their helmets and things that they use for practice, cleats, gloves, the things that a player needs.
Hill's staff loads all of the equipment onto this trailer, including pads, a communication system, and even an x-ray machine. The trailer beats them to their destination, so the gear is ready and waiting.
We get there and then meet the drivers the next morning, and we'll offload everything at the hotel and get everything set up there that we need.
The equipment staff sets up video equipment, treatment, and training rooms at the hotel. With so much to do, Mark says they can hit bumps along the way. But come kickoff, all eyes turn to the field.
Oftentimes, if there are challenges, nobody really recognizes or sees the impact because we run ahead of it.
After the game, players pack their gear and equipment, staff loads the truck while the travel team stays behind to clean up and pay the bills. Mary?
Speaking of traveling, former BYU receiver Austin Collie will be heading to New England because he signed with the Patriots yesterday. Collie adds depth to a 4-0 Patriot team with 4 injured receivers on its roster, but had to sign a concussion waiver to do so. Collie's former teammate Dallas Reynolds also signed yesterday. He will join the New York Giants. BYU women's volleyball, aka Smithfield Housekeeping, showed up and swept another conference rival, University of the Pacific. Now, although the two teams traded points the whole match, with Taylor Haddock earning her 9th double-double of the season, with 11 kills and 12 digs in the match. The Lady Cougs easily cleaned house in 3 sets. Moving on to another conference showdown last night at Pepperdine, Haddock continued her double-double streak and Alexa Gray added a whopping 17 kills. A tough third set 16-25 loss made BYU rethink their strategy. So just like what we do with Browns, they flipped the score upside down and ended the game in a 4th set 25-16 win. Their road trip continues tomorrow at Loyola Marymount at noon.
And the way last season ended for the BYU men's volleyball team is motivating them each and every time they hit the practice court. CougTube reporter Dave Neely shows us that hopes are high for the upcoming season despite the loss of a first-team All-American.
Taylor Sanders still thinks about that national championship match. He was blocked on the final play to end the season. A devastating loss for the BYU men's volleyball team.
It was a really hard thing to deal with. I mean, we worked so hard all season, and then for us to come short by a couple sets.
Now the Cougars are back on the volleyball court and using that loss to make them better.
I think it's motivated us for sure to work even harder this year.
But one standout won't be with the team. First-team All-American Ben Patch entered the MTC earlier this week to begin his LDS mission to Columbus, Ohio.
My mind was already made up. You know, no matter what happened, no matter the successes, a mission was a sure thing for me.
Patch was a typical first-year player, and it didn't take him long to become a superstar on the Smithfield House court.
He was a great asset to our team, and he got a lot better.
Now with Patch out of the picture, the question on everyone's mind is who will be the Ben Patch of this year?
They have some new freshmen that are so talented and could, you know, really have a big impact on this team this season.
The goal for the Cougars going into this season is exactly the same as it was a year ago.
Play again for the national championship.
At the Smithfield House, Dave Neely, CougTube.
And the loss of Ben Patch may put more pressure on senior Taylor Sander, but it's a challenge that the 3-time All-American says he's ready for.
You know what, Jake, I thought the women's volleyball team was really going to suffer without Jen Hampson, but they seem to be doing well, so maybe it'll be the same for the men, and they'll come out and win all their games.
Yeah, let's hope Taylor Sander can kind of fill that spot for Ben Patch, and we can get one other person to also fill kind of that outside spot. Let's hope.
Yeah, we'll see in a month or so. When CougTube returns, friendly fire. Cougar swimmers and divers go stroke for stroke and kick for kick in their annual team scrimmage.
And 2 kings. They may not be royalty, but 2 brothers are going for gold on the Cougar swim team.
You may think swim season is winding down, but BYU Swim and Dive is just getting started. Let's go to the pool. You won't even need sunscreen. The annual blue versus white scrimmage kicked off the season for the Speedo crew. Nobody recorded individual scores, and the white team won by 14. Coaches say they were pleasantly surprised. BYU's first real meet is next Friday in Colorado.
2 brothers are looking to make an early impact in the pool this season. CougTube reporter Zach Brady spent some time with the swim team. Zach, who are these guys?
Well, Michael and McKay King are a pair of brothers who are looking forward to leading the swim team together. With younger brother Michael just returning home from his mission, the duo is looking forward to dominating in the pool this season.
These 2 brothers spent years in the pool building a special bond that only gets stronger each season. Michael and McKay King have been swimming together since they can remember.
I know we enjoy when the other succeeds, and it's nice to kind of be able to wrap up our swimming careers together because, I mean, we started swimming together. So.
They grew up a few miles north of BYU in American Fork, where the two were standout swimmers for their high school. They racked up several state championships, earned multiple All-American honors, and set a couple state records while at American Fork High.
I don't know if my 100 back still stands, but I know my 200 where I am definitely is shattered. Had some good swimmers coming up from high school. So.
Phone calls from universities around the country flooded their phone line as the two racked up their awards. But the chance to swim together at BYU and carry on a family legacy was too good to pass up.
My family's always been BYU people. My dad played football here, and so I always wanted to go to BYU ever since I was really little.
The brothers say they are excited for this upcoming season and are looking forward to making a splash for the Cougs in the pool.
The King brothers and the rest of the swim team get their season underway a week from today at the Mesa State Invite in Grand Junction, Colorado. Live in the newsroom, Zach Brady, KookTube.
So Zach, there are a lot of swim strokes. What are the strokes that these guys specialize in?
Well, you can see Michael, the older brother, he usually does the breaststroke, and McKay, he's a sprinter, the more freestyle. So they don't usually face off head to head, but they both want to make different relay teams. So there's the opportunity we could see these two brothers square off and swim against each other.
That would be interesting. Thanks, Zach.
It would be crazy to be on a team with your sibling. I think I'd get a little too competitive.
I'd love it. That'd be fun.
When KookTube comes back, Lone Star Showdown. The Lady Kickers are in Texas for a brawl with the Baylor Bears and need to win to end their midseason slump.
And how many of you had to scrape your cars this morning? I'll let you know if the snow is something we should get used to or something we can just push through. I'll let you know when 11 game time weather returns.
BYU women's soccer faces 16th ranked Baylor on the road for the first time ever tonight. It's a top 25 battle, and both teams are looking to rebound from tough home losses. The Lady Kickers are stuck in a rut, having lost 2 in a row, and the Lady Bears lost their first match of the season at home against West Virginia last week. The Cougars had a week to lick their wounds and look to move back into the win column tonight.
Chilly this morning. I had to scrape my windows with frost. I had to scrape the frost off, but I'm grateful because it's all melted now and we should not be seeing more snow in the future. Here's a shot outside of the Provo Library. The clouds, it's about 47 degrees and our wind speeds are pretty low and our humidity is at 90% because we did have some rain. We may expect a couple flare-ups today, but it should clear up tonight for the game. What you can expect for tonight is that it will get pretty cold. We're looking at 32 degrees, partly cloudy skies. The sun's going to go down around 7. So for the game, be ready for the cool. The highs around the state, we're looking pretty good. Our snow is gone. I'm really excited about that. We're in Provo right here. We're at 53 degrees. Logan, 52 degrees. They're going to get colder tonight. I'll let you know in a little bit. And St. George, they're at 68 degrees, pushing 70. They're nearly 20 degrees warmer than everywhere else in the state. They're going to see more 70s in their 5-day forecast. Today they're going to see some 68, a low of 44, and then 75. And then as their week goes on, they hit the 80s. They're still holding on to that warm weather. I'm super jealous. Here in northern Utah County, it'll be cold. We're going to see about 32 degrees, but in Logan for the game tonight, they're looking at 29 degrees. So cold. Be ready for the cold. But as Saturday comes, they'll start to warm up, and then our week, we'll see that warm front. I feel like we see this every week. It gets super cold for game night, and then it gets warm as Sunday goes on, and then we'll see the warmer weather once the next week hits. So that'll be great to have.
Thanks, Eliza. It may be cold outside, but it's going to heat up here in the newsroom because it's time for predicts. We've got an in-state rivalry today. It's going to make predictions interesting here. So welcome to the Rectangle, everyone. Let's get started with Jake.
Yeah, we have, first of all, I'm winning. I think I'm 2-0. Maybe there's a few of us that are 2-0, but I'm feeling pretty good about this week. I have Utah State beating BYU. I shouldn't do that. I know I shouldn't pick against my Cougars, but I don't think Taysom Hill has the ability to beat Utah State's defense the way he did against Middle Tennessee. And then we have Stanford against, who do they play? Stanford, Washington. Oh, sorry, guys. I have Stanford at home beating the Huskies. Stanford is 22 of 23 at home, guys. Of their last 23 games, they've won 22. So I don't see them losing this game.
All right, Zach.
So I just want to apologize for my fellow reporters going 1-1. That's about to change this week. I'm going to take BYU with the upset. Taysom Hill's going to dominate through the air. They're going to shut him down on the run, but he's going to dominate through the air. And Keith Price and Bishop Sankey for the University of Washington is going to go into Palo Alto and upset the Cardinal.
I am also going with BYU because I think their offense is making great strides, and I'm going to hope for the best this weekend for them. And then as for Stanford, I'm going with them because, number one, their mascot is the Dancing Trees, which is awesome. And number two, their front seven defense is amazing, probably the best in college football right now.
As for me, I hate to do this, but I'm going to pick Utah State. I want to be wrong. I will sacrifice my record and be happy about it if BYU wins. But Chucky Keaton and Utah State's defense, I don't know if we're going to get past them, but I hope we do. That's what counts, right? And I'm going to go with Washington. I'm going to side with Zach on this one. I think Bishop Sankey is incredible for rushing. I think Washington has the more impressive win so far this season, and I see them going into Palo Alto and getting that upset win.
Well, you look at Washington's talent. They actually have, I think, more talent than Stanford, but again, Stanford at home, their only loss, I said 22 of 23, that loss came against Oregon, who ended up making it to the Rose Bowl and winning it back in 2011. So Stanford at home is just so good. I don't think Washington can come in. They're still kind of a new, growing team, but I don't see them winning.
Yeah, it's going to be a slugfest over there in Stanford.
Yeah, well, I bet it'll be warmer in Palo Alto than it will be up in Logan, so hopefully that cold doesn't factor in too much to tonight's game. I bet they'll have some chicken broth going on the sidelines.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Well, that's Coug Tube for Friday, October 14th.
If you want another look at the stories we did today or to share with your friends, check out the Coug Tube section of our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great afternoon, and go Cougs.